Today we're going to be looking at a Stay Wet palette. So this is a Stay Wet palette by Dali Rauner, and it's really useful for keeping your acrylics moist for a long period of time. The problem obviously with acrylics is that they dry pretty quickly, and it can be quite frustrating if you've mixed up a perfect colour and before you know it's dried out. So the Stay Wet palette is really useful for that. So you can get it in two sizes. You can get it in an A4 or an A3. I'd recommend that you get the larger size, the A3 size, because it gives you a lot more space. So in the Stay Wet palette you've got obviously the plastic lid, and then you get two types of paper in there. So you've got like a blotting paper, which is slightly thicker, and then you've got like a piece of greaseproof paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to soak the blotting paper by pouring some water over it, and then that will keep that nice and moist, and then obviously we can put the greaseproof paper over the top. So let's pour that on now. Okay, so we've got our blotting paper in our Stay Wet palette. So I'm just going to take some water and pour that all over. Make sure you completely cover the areas, and then just move the water around. So you don't want loads, but what you can do is just drain off the excess water. Just leave a little bit in there. You will find that it will curl up and it will go a little bit wrinkly, but that's just because obviously the water's made to do that, so don't worry about that, that's fine. What you can then do is get your greaseproof paper and just place that over the top. Just smooth it out and just press down the edges, otherwise they'll curl up. So that will curl up with it, so that's fine, don't worry about that. And then what you can obviously do is you can either use the acrylics straight into the palette. Alternatively, you may want to pre-mix them onto just a normal palette, and then you can transfer them into your Stay Wet palette. And then all you need to do is pop the lid on, make sure that's on nice and tight, and that will keep your acrylics moist for a few days. This area around here you can just use to put your paints in or your brushes, so that's up to you, but once you've got your paints on the Stay Wet palette, they'll be fine for a few days depending on how much you put in there, and it's really useful to use because it keeps your acrylics nice and wet basically, and we know how difficult acrylics can be when they dry so quickly, so definitely recommend this. It's definitely worth buying. It's about £20 for the larger version, and I think it's about £15 for the smaller, but definitely get the larger because you've got much more of a workable area. And that's pretty much it for the Stay Wet palette. My name's Michelle Gibbs from mgartclass.com. So if you want any more tips or advice, just pop over to my website.